How's it going, internets? I hope you're having a lovely day. It's that time again. It's time to get into some animation, time to get that imagination all cranked up, get into some creativity, and it's time to get inspired. And today's inspiration comes from Alan Davis. If you're not familiar with his work, check right over here. He is a wonderful artist. I really love his style. Kind of reminds me of Jamie Hewlett with a little more traditional comic book stylings as well. Just a gorgeous artist. I love his line work. I think he's got a phenomenal line and really lovely characters, especially like these two in particular. But let's take a look at some more of his work. Great composition and layout here. I love the grouping of the characters, and this character in the background here with a long sword really helps set the composition as well. Throwing this much blank negative space really offsets the busyness of the other side as well. Just really interesting layout. So gorgeous stuff from him. I urge you guys to check out more. Look how fun that expression is. Really feel the exaggeration and drag in the face there for sure. Again, another one, beautiful coloring there too. I really like this one. I thought this was just a really strong piece. Really nice posing. Works well with the moon in the background there. Just a gorgeous piece there too. So definitely check out more stuff from him. We'll throw some links in the description below, but I did want to share a quote that I was able to find from him. And he said, "I always give any job my best." And I think that's a great attitude to have, no matter what it is that you're going at. Always put your best foot forward. Always try your hardest, and just to put what you can. You know, not slack off. If you're not gonna put your best at it, then why bother doing it? You know. I think it's a great quote. Let's go ahead and get into some animation. I'm a little off today. I apologize. Had to spend some time at a hospital today, and also broke my phone. So a little bit of a first world problems for sure, but nonetheless, definitely a little bit off. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get into some animation. We're going to be continuing to use the Goon rig, a wonderful rig. It comes from the How to Cheat in Maya series. Check out the links in the description below if you guys want to try it out for yourself or grab that great resource. And we're continuing on with the Skirmish that we've been working on for a couple of days. We're using Autodesk Maya 2014. For more information on that, check out the links in the description below. And I think for today, we're just going to try and flush out the run on this darker character with the big hammer today. I think is pretty much our main goal. Probably take the bulk of the hour just to flesh that out a little bit more. But let's take a look at the thing as a whole before we get into doing anything more. So we fleshed out the run on this character a little bit more yesterday, which I think helped. And then once we get the run set up here, it's just a little too wonky for me right now. We'll go ahead and start breaking down the action parts a little bit more, hopefully tomorrow if we get this nailed in here. So let's go ahead and turn our NURB curves on and turn back on all our layers so we can see all our controllers here. I'll go ahead and save off our file one more time, and let's start getting in to doing some breaking down on this run. So this one's got a little bit different timing than the other one here, and let's make sure that we probably cap this out at about 51 here. So we're really looking at about 60 frames that we're going to be attacking for today. And again, we don't really have anything going on till about frame 8 here. And let's see this one. Keep that on the ground till about 14. Do a little bit of ball roll here. Probably keep it on the ground till at least 16 there, actually. As if the ball roll is going to let us get there, which it should. Let's hold this foot down on the ground a little bit longer. Hold it till about 25 here. Why is it going like that? Come on. Because it's key. So let's delete that one. And look back to this foot. Again, we'll hold it to probably 35. Where is it? Right before it contacts the ground. So we can still make sure that we get that frame where both feet are off the ground, which would actually be 33 here. So we'll go ahead and move that there and delete this one. And get some more ball roll in there. And we'll look at this foot. We'll hold it. One more frame after that. So we make sure we still have that frame where they're both up in the air here. So let's make sure we get rid of that ball roll. There. Again, we're just really looking at the feet, trying to flesh those out a little bit more. So actually, let's make sure this foot comes off the ground at the same time, because we want to have that one frame where both feet are up in the air. So I'll do that. And let's look at this foot. Get a little bit of slide there, actually. So let's make sure, let's take what we have there and bring that to 42. And delete this one. Don't want any ball roll when it plants. And let's keep it on the ground for a few more frames flat there. So all we really did was look at the lift off on the back foot so far, but at least we get a couple of frames of that. So let's start looking at when the foot contacts back with the ground here. Let's go ahead and lift that up a little bit higher and do a little bit of rotate X. Let's look at kind of the passing position. We'll drag it down there. I want these steps to be pretty heavy on this character, so let's look at that. And get a little bit of ball roll here. Look at kind of the passing position. We'll zero out the ball roll. Add a bit of rotate X there, so it's dragging. Maybe we'll do it there. Delete that one. Two frames before the contact, we'll lift it up a little bit higher so it can slam down. Pull the rotate X up so it hits harder. Kind of a stomp. Okay, and we'll look at this one. Kind of look at where the passing position is. We'll go ahead and drag that foot back here. 2 frames for the contact. We'll lift it up a bit higher. There's some rotate X up there. Drop it down. Look at this one. Drag that foot back here. Zero out the ball roll there. I don't like to use ball roll when the foot's not on the ground. I like to use the rotates, and then when the foot's on the ground, I like to use a ball roll or a heel roll. But once the foot's up in the air, I tend to try and switch off from that and just use the rotations. It's kind of good to have an idea of how you want to approach that, whether you always want to stick with a rotation or always on a ball roll, or when it's in the air have one way versus when it's planted. It's good than rather to having to play off of how much ball roll versus how much rotate. So it's just something to think about while you're doing that, so you're not mixing the two controllers if you don't have to. Try and save yourself a little bit of counter animating in there. And raise that up, go 2 frames, plant it down. Let's go a little bit higher here. Even here, it could be a little bit higher there. Maybe a little into the foot there. Go ahead and delete this one. I'm sure we'll polish that up even more, but for right now that works. And let's look at the passing position. Drag that foot back here, get rid of the ball roll. Maybe drag it back a little bit more than that. Okay, let's do a quick play blast and just look at those feet and see how they're working. Okay, I feel like it's probably a little too over the top. Well, I know it's too over the top, but the idea is there. But I think they're just a little too high on those steps. They don't need to be that high. So let's look at the translate Y's on both feet here, and that's going to be the up and down. And let's go ahead and try and clean those up a little bit more and scale them back a little bit more here too. And right now it's feeling almost like a quick walk, so let's try and get a little more up on that. So maybe we'll go 1 frame back so you can get that position a little bit more there. So I'll set that. I'll give it 1 more frame of up in the air here. Same with this one. So I'll key it there, bring that one back, because unlike the other side, we're not really having as much problem getting the feet to look planted on the ground, which was kind of a problem we were feeling on the other side. This one I don't feel like we're having that too much. Alright, let's do another quick play blast, just see how the feet... Okay, it's better. It's not perfect yet, but I think I want to work on the hips. Get those working a little bit more before I really try and polish up the feet anymore. I think the idea is working better on the feet. We've got some weight there, some definite slap down on the feet. I think it could be better, but it's working for right now. So let's look at the hips. I think we need to get those working a little bit more. So let's look at the translate Y's on the hips. That's going to be the up and down on the hips here. I'll go ahead and accentuate the down, I think is what we want to do. So bring it down here more. This will hopefully add a bit more weight. Actually, I think I want this to be the down. This to be the up. Let's see. Boom. Boom. Yeah, that's better. And let's accentuate it even more, so we'll push those downs even further. Okay, I feel like that's going to work a little bit better for us. And let's look at our translate X's. It's going to be where the favor over the planted foot there. 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 Here. Back. Okay, and let's look at those, balance those out a little bit better. Okay, and now let's hit the rotate Y's. And that's just going to be on the contact there. We're going to want to favor the front planted hip a little bit more. Try to do that right on the contact frame there, where the foot hits the ground. And again, we'll probably have to scale this back, but let's start. Gotta start somewhere here. I like where it ends there. Okay. And let's balance that out a little bit better. We're obviously going to favor one side over the other just because of how the hammer is going to be there. But I think we're still wanting to get some more of that built in there. And now let's do the rotate Z's here too. Let's push it over that planted hip a little bit more. Get over that one. Over this one. Over that one. Over this one. And back. Okay, and let's clean that up a little bit more here too. And try and balance it out a little better. Why does it feel like it's so much this way? Alright, go with that. Okay, hips working, we just gotta kind of offset it with the chest, and I'm sure we'll scale it back in a little bit here as well. So let's look at the chest. And grab the hips and the chest. We'll just look at the rotate Y's here. So we're just grabbing all of the rotate Y controllers here, and we'll go through and key where we need to key them. So we'll do key selected here, key selected there, key selected here, key selected there. This is just going to be for kind of offsetting the movement that we did in the hips, and do that into the chest here. There, so I'll go ahead and get rid of that one. Okay, and that should give us where we need to punch those. So we'll go back to just looking at the chest, and now we have where we want to put our keys. So let's go ahead and do that, but I did want to get rid of, set that, and delete this one. Okay. Again, we'll go back to just looking at the rotate Y's now. Let's see. There. Go here. Go there. Go here. And there. Okay. And remember, we're just kind of looking at the chest, the hips, and the feet for right now. Not worried too much about the arms and what they're doing just yet. Okay, and now let's go back to just looking at the chest and the hips, and we'll plug in where we want those rotate Z or Z keys to be at. So go here, key selected, key selected, key selected, key selected, key selected, and then get rid of that one. Okay. And now let's go back to just looking at the chest. And just looking at the rotate Z's. And we've got those all punched in for where we want them, so let's go ahead and just grab them here. I still have to push these poses a little bit more. This feels a little too much over. This should probably go over a little bit that way. Okay, and let's kind of look at how that's playing out in the camera that we want to see it at. Alright, let's do a quick play blast and just see how that's working here. I'm going to pause this. Okay, again, we're just kind of looking at the looseness of the run, not really looking at the overall thing just yet, because we need to blend these moves better, because right now there's just kind of a slow move up with these arms, and then there's a jolt between how the chest is looking during the run versus then it just pops back. So we need to blend those ideas together a little bit better. But I think the overall just feel of the run, probably a little more weight in the hips, so we'll punch those down a little bit more, maybe delay them a frame on the up and down on the Y, and let's get some rotate X in there as well. So I think that's what we'll work on next. And sometimes if you're getting lag, doing a quick play blast, pausing, taking a step back, kind of seeing where your next plan of action should be. It always helps me, so maybe that'll help you guys as well. So again, I think we'll punch the rotate or the translate Y's down even more. Try and help sell that weight a little bit. And I think we'll also have them hit... No, that's probably about right. About 2 frames after the contact. Let's just try and add some rotate X in there then. So let's grab the rotate X and the translate Y, so we can kind of know where we want to hit those, because I like hitting them between the translates. So we'll go ahead and key selected there, key selected there. You see I do these in between there, so that works, that works. We'll go about here, there, 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 and there for now. Again, we're gonna work on some blending of the run to the lift up, and the posing. We'll probably throw a couple of breakdowns in there, but for right now I just want to focus on the run aspects of this. So let's look at the rotate X's then. And let's look in frames so we can actually see what we're doing here. So we'll go back here, up there, right? Yeah. So grab every other one here, pull them back. Okay, and then we'll grab the chest and the hips, and again we'll just look at the rotate X's so we get some timing for where we want to punch those keys in, and we'll do key selected here because that's a key there, and we'll offset that and key that one, key here, there, and just so you guys can see on camera here, let's pull that up. So what I'm doing, this is what we had on the hips, and I want that timing to be the same on the chest. So I'm just doing the key selected here rather than keying all attributes. Just doing it on this one specific one. Okay, and I'll just grab the chest and get that working. And again, we want to keep the same basic shape, but that way we can get a little bit of movement in there. one was our first one here? This one. Okay. I'll grab every other key there. And I'll bring that back a little bit. Probably too far. Scale it back a little bit more. Alright, let's play blast that and see it. Alright, it's not perfect yet, but I think the beginning part of the run works. We've got this little bit of jut forward and pull back that I don't necessarily love yet, but that's more the blending from the run to this first acting beat. So that'll be something we'll approach in a minute after we really get most of this stuff fleshed out, which I think it's getting pretty close to getting fleshed out there. So let's start. I actually want to look at the arms here a little bit more, because I think that's kind of distracting me a bit from where I want to go. So let's hit about there. Have that hold till about 42. Actually, let's go about 39, and then 42. Could have this pull back down a little bit here. Eventually get to there. This could probably be a little bit overshot. Yeah, feels a little better. And this would probably be dragging back about here. So kind of get that bit of a swing forward. I'm not going to focus on this arm right now. I just want to get the rest of that working. And let's look at the translate Y's. I think I want this one to be down a little bit more, because he's going to be anticipating going up. Or maybe actually it should be down. This one here, like right about here, should really go down. Maybe not as far down. Gotta be aware of that intersection, but we'll clean that up. Now the rotation does something here. Gotta figure out why it's jutting forward so much. It's the rotate X probably. Pull it back down a little bit. Okay, we know we like this pose here. I feel like that works. Maybe we'll get rid of this. Punch the hips down again. I'm not going to worry about the neck just yet. copy this. Go ahead and get rid of that. Go here, we'll rotate it down a little bit more. It needs to be back a little bit more. Something right here. Get rid of that one. Okay. So we get that little bit of anticipation from there. Again, probably have to go with a little bit more rotate Z just to get it out from there. That's fine. Okay, let's do a quick play blast and see if that's working a little better for. Okay, I think that's working better, but I think we might need a couple more frames for the hammer to get up there. It feels like it's a little too quick. We want that to feel heavier, so we're going to need a couple more frames to get it there. So let's close that out again. Go ahead and save our file here. And how are we doing on time? Oh, we still got plenty of time here. Okay. So again, let's go ahead and give me a couple more frames to get there. Here. I'll still swing this one back a little bit more. A little bit more. A little bit more. So we get a little bit better spacing there. So we got tight, tight, a little bit more, a lot more, probably a little bit further back, a little bit forward. There. Alright, let's play blast that and see. Feels like it maybe is a little too far back. Like it swings back a little too far and comes forward a little bit more, so maybe we'll just pull it back and then rotate Y for the extreme there. Maybe we'll just delay everything so it doesn't quite hit there just yet. So we'll grab everything here. Wouldn't have hit this just yet. We know we need to hit it at 51. So let's take everything here and cut a frame from there. And I think this might be too far. So let's scale that up a little bit. key that, key that. Maybe it's the hips here. For the chest, something's stopping us here. So what is it? Grab all of those. Up. Just shouldn't drop down though. Gotta translate Y here. Let's let it be a little bit higher here. Maybe it's just in the arms. Do you still feel like there's too big of a pop there? Still feel like this might, we could probably still have this a little bit further back. Let's go to rotate Y's here. Gotta be aware of that foot on the other side though, because that's not gonna read very well. Let's not have this bend so much. Because it wouldn't have been affected by that other blade until right there. Right? How do I want to approach that? I know I like that one. I feel like that works. Get rid of this. Still something on the translate Y, I swear. What is it? Why is it dropping down so much? Delay it, frame. Alright, let's play blast that and just see how it looks. It's alright, but I think we might push it one frame later, so it almost stops the arc instead of goes to the arc and then comes forward. Okay, let's try that instead. So we'll go here. So instead of having our top of the arc here, our top of the arc will be there. So we'll go ahead and, but is that going to affect our silhouette here? It might. Alright, because I was thinking, but if if we move that down, we won't have that nice silhouette, which I think works pretty well. So sometimes you have to think, which are you going to favor? Are you going to favor a more polished arc, or are you going to favor a better composition? It's a tough thing sometimes, and that's why two-person scenes are more intricate, because you can't always get the smoothness and the composition at the same time. Or we could always rearrange it so we got a different composition and everything, but those are just choices that you have to make sometimes. For what do you want to prevail? And I think for right now, we really want it to read well rather than the arc to be as polished as it could be. But maybe I'll change my mind in a later version, but I think for right now, it's kind of what I want to favor. Now let's still get this hammer out from in front of that leg, so it's not hitting it, intersecting through it. Maybe we'll get rid of that. Keep that one. We'll get rid of this one. Go ahead and drag that foot back here. A little less there. Keep our silhouettes nice. Let's push this one over here so it's slamming that knee back down. Let's look at chest here, make sure we don't have any spots where it really flats off or anything. Might get rid of the rotate Y and Z here a little bit though, so we can still have a little bit of movement there. And probably the same in the hips. Try and blend those moves a little bit better. Alright, now one thing I do want to do with this one is I definitely want to pump that shoulder up and down to emphasize the weight here. So let's look at translate Y and the shoulders here. So let's grab both shoulders and the hips, and we'll go off of the translate Y's when those are here. The rotate Y and the translate Y. It's what, every 4 frames? Okay. Rotate Y, key selected, 4 frames, key selected, key selected. Just so we can get a basic timing here. Just want to try and add some weight where we can to those shoulders. Okay, and let's look at them now. Again, we're just looking at the shoulders here. To do each one individually as well. So we'll go in and do the opposite shoulder different way. intersection there. Okay. And again, let's go ahead and look back at this shoulder. So we really want it to hang down on the up position here. So we'll probably delay this a couple of frames here too. Set right. This up could go even higher. Down. This could go a little bit more. And let's look at this side now. Polish that out a little bit better. So these will be ups here. Down, up, down. Again, we'll have to be aware of that intersection, but I'll come back and address that in a bit. Right now, I just want to get those shoulders working. And then let's delay them probably a frame, maybe two here. One frame. Okay, and let's look here. This arm. Go ahead and do a little bit of rotate Z here. Be that like 8 frames later would be 23, go a little bit that way. 31, we'll go a little this way. And back. Alright, let's do another play blast and see how that's coming along here. Okay, we could definitely push that idea a little bit more, but and I delayed it an extra frame there, but I think that's starting to work. You get a little bit of weight there from the hammer in the shoulders, which is kind of working. And definitely accentuate that a little bit more, and I think we probably will with the arm, but for right now it's working. Now, another thing I kind of want to do is maybe not so much rotate up. Feels a little too pushed. So let's look at both of those. Rotate X's here. I feel like that. Just look at this one here. Let's scale those back a little bit. Feels like it's a little too much. this side. Rotate X's here. A little too much. Yeah, let's do a little bit of toe here as well. So we'll drag the toe down. Lift it up here. And go one frame later. We'll flat it out. Just so we get a little bit of the heel and then the foot. Okay, we'll drag that toe back here. One frame before the contact, we'll lift it up. And then one frame after it, we'll flatten it out again. Alright, and let's look at this foot here. Drag, there, come on. Drag that toe back there. One frame before the contact, we'll lift it up, flat, and flat it out one frame after. And I think we need to pick up the foot a little bit more here too, or do a little less, rotate one or the other. Let's go and just lift it up. Drag that toe a little bit here. Again, one frame before, we'll lift it up. One frame after, we'll flat it out. And here, go lift it up a little bit more, drag that toe. Rotate it back a little bit. Just for this one frame, we're kind of cheating a little bit, which is okay. So we don't want to intersect through that pole. So that knee's a little bit cleaner there too. Now we definitely need to go back into these passing positions and maybe push them up a little bit more so we don't intersect through the ground plane. A little bit of drag through there is fine, but I don't want too much. Alright, let's do another play blast here and see how we're doing. Alright, starting to come together there. Still could use a little more fleshing out. I feel tone down the spine a little bit more too, because that was working a little too over the top. Okay, let's look at how both sides kind of contrast here. So let's zoom out a little bit more. Let's look at both sides playing together and see how they play off of each other. So I'll do another play blast here. Alright, it's not great, but I think it's better than the other character where he works on runs. I think it functions a little better. There's a little more sense of weight to it. But it is kind of nice having the faster, wider, what do they call that? Wider gated run of the left character versus the smaller steps and heavier steps of the darker character on the right there. I think that contrast plays well, but I think we need to accentuate a little more up and down on the left side character. So I think I'll do that. Let's go in here and see if we can't just amp up the up and downs a little bit more there. just felt like it wasn't nearly enough, especially when compared to the other side. So we'll do another play blast and let's see how that plays out. Okay, that's a bit better. Remember, we still need to do the arms and stuff on the other characters, so that's not working. We don't really have the head and neck and stuff working yet for the beginning part. But I think it's starting to come together a lot better than it was before, and I actually like the stuff we did today better than the stuff we did yesterday. I feel like that's working a little bit better. But again, we're doing a lot more information on the character on the left than on the right, though, too, just because there were bigger steps and everything. So we're hitting about our time, but I think I want to try and do just a quick pass on the arms on the left side here, just because they weren't working just yet. So let's go ahead and do that here. So that one is furthest forward. This one we'll have here. And when this one's furthest forward, we'll pull it back a little bit. Up. Back. Up. And pull it back. Again, pull it back some more here. Okay, yeah, let's take a look at how that's looking. Alright, something like that. Okay, and let's look at the other arm. By the time it hits here, we'll go ahead and rotate it that way and forward. And it will bring it back. Forward. Back. Forward. Back. Then we have this one. So go ahead and get rid of that. Look at our rotate X here. I think it'd still be pulling back here. Something like that. Still needs a bunch more work, but at least a rough passing on those arms. And let's go ahead and play blast that and just see how it works. Okay, it's pretty rough there, but at least we've got a little bit of a pass on those arms going there. A little bit of anticipation for that swing up. Feels a little better, but I think we got to tweak the posing on the chest a little bit there too. Just try and blend it kind of like we did on the other character. We have a little bit more anticipation in getting into that pose. But we'll work on that tomorrow. We've got the basic information of the runs on both characters built in, which I knew was going to take a while because that's a lot of information to get in there for over a long period frames versus a lot of quick stuff, which would be on ones. But still, we got it working. Definitely needs some more passes. Probably another day where we just break down both of these runs a little bit more and flesh them out. Now that we've got the information there, we want to make it a little bit stronger. Feel like still don't know about the feet on this other character. I think we could still on the left hand side character, I feel like could be a little bit better, but at least they're reading. Everything's reading. I don't know that's wonderful yet, but it's coming together. We still got a while before we're there. So let's play blast the whole darn thing. Get it in frame here. I also want to scale that up a little bit. And make sure that we don't have any other keys on there, so we'll get rid of those. Pop this one back. Turn our curves off here. Hide all those extra controllers we don't need. And alright, we still got a long way to go in this shot. Probably at least as many parts as we've done so far. Probably another at least 4 or 5 days that we'll be spending polishing this one up, if not way more than that. Depends on how polished we want to get on this thing, but all the information is there. Now it's just making it better and really adding more attitude and feeling to it. But the idea is working, so that's good. That takes a while for a shot to come together and really know how it works, but now we just need to make it better. There's a lot to do to make this better right now, especially it's funny because now that maybe we'll spend tomorrow breaking down some of the quicker action stuff, especially that part right there where he's hits him with or pushes back with the hammer and shoots him over to side and then jumps back. I think that's what I'll hit up tomorrow, just to give us a break from doing the runs that we've been working on for the last couple of days. Even though I definitely want to break those up more, I like to kind of mix stuff up too, so that I'm not working on the same thing every day. It gives me fresh eyes to look at stuff that I might not have seen the day before. So maybe we'll do that tomorrow. But let's go ahead and take a look at where we started. We were looking at the beautiful work of Alan Davis, and he said, "I always give any job my best." I think it's a great attitude to have and a great thing to bring to the table, so that every day you're doing your best. And I think there's a point too to say that your best today might not be as good as your best tomorrow, or it might be better, because there's always going to be other factors. And I think that's important too to think of try and have, this is kind of a little bit different than you might hear from most people, but try to have like a good diet and to get exercise and to try and have things in your life that put you in a good mood for when you're working as well. Because like I said, I spent a large amount of today in a hospital doing stuff which kind of changes your mindset and changes your outlook and your view on things. And then I had my phone break and getting frustrated with that. There's just a lot of other factors that you might not think of, and no matter how much you can compartmentalize, which is a great thing, so that you can focus on your work, I think that stuff eventually seeps into your work day as well. So it's important to be able to compartmentalize, but also to realize that there's going to be outside factors that you can't control everything of. So try and do your best, but recognize that your best today might not be as good as your best tomorrow, or it might be better than your best yesterday, and all that stuff works. So don't be too hard on yourself, but always give your best effort and put your best foot forward and try and give your best, or just do give your best. That's another great thing that Bula Robello, a wonderful animator and wonderful teacher that I had, instilled in me. Do or do not, there is no try. As to my best ability, don't use the word try. It's difficult because it's ingrained in there, but just do rather than try. I love you guys lots. I'm getting rambly. I hope you guys had fun with this one. We definitely broke down some stuff on that run. I think our work on that one ended up working a lot better than the one before. Still need some polish on that and figure out what I don't like about that one, because I don't feel like it's working. The attitude's kind of not right. It's functional, but does that mean that it's good or great? Definitely needs a couple more days of polish on there. But I'm getting rambly. I love you guys lots. Thanks for all the likes and subscribes. You're amazing. I hope you're taking time out of your day, no matter what is coming up in life, to take another step in your journey and try and master whatever medium it is. And master, not try, like I said before, master whatever medium it is that you're passionate about. And I love you. You guys are amazing. Keep going. You can do it. I believe in you. Remember, if you're watching this, you are the creative future. So go out there and make something. Use your imagination. change the world. Love you guys lots. And we will see, as soon as I can find the button there, we'll see you for some more animation, some more creativity, some more imagination tomorrow.